Hello. Welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news that still affects us all. I am Osaiwa Mesale. It's our ladies' night out, and the ladies are out. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
There's NJ giving us it's a rave vibe.
Yes, that's what
NJ,
it
how
is.
are you?
I'm good.
What a guan?
I'm good. I'm good.
How was your week?
Oh, it's been a tough week, but very productive. Let me put it that way. Lots
Mm.
of things are going really well, and as badly as they're going, on the other hand, but certain things are going really well, which helps you to look up to every day and just know that there's still hope and light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
Awesome, awesome. Bofa.
Why did we laugh?
Yes, because I was about to ma before I remember it was far.
Yeah.
How are you, Bofa?
I'm good. It's been a good week for me too. I'm just coming from this event where Tunde Onakaya, the chess champion, was speaking. I heard a lot of stuff, learned a lot of stuff. I feel like I could save the world right now. So I just hope tomorrow morning I don't wake up and watch it burn. But for tonight, I'm excited.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. How about you, Mary? The delectable Mary.
I say the
Alma
honest truth, now, I
Williams.
feel like I'll down the mood.
Why?
Yeah?
No, say
We
say
want
your
to hear it.
truth.
I don't know. I just feel like it's been such an okay week. Like there's nothing wrong, and I feel like I've been so much in freeze mode. So freeze mode in the sense that like I'm driving. I'm not really using my full senses. I just know that I'm driving.
You know where you're going.
Yeah, I get back home from work and I literally just sit in the car for, a while. Like, it feels like maybe the absence of there's nobody shouting or like pressuring me. So it now makes me feel like I'm not doing anything, So I don't know, it's just a very.
I understand that
like,
feeling, though. Sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, do you want chaos? But I don't want chaos. But it's like, everything is just is too plain.
You know, sometimes I have that thing, like, you know how you're here but you're not here.
Yeah.
It happens to me a lot. So I started intentionally like shutting down and really shutting down because I might be here, especially when I'm under a lot of pressure, right? I might be here, but I'm not here. So, but I'm doing everything. Like I'm working, I'm doing everything, but inside of me, I know that I am not present.
Yeah, I know
So that feeling, it happens. It's normal. It happens to the best of us. So it's okay.
I'm with you.
Oh my God! So tonight,
You've not
unfortunately,
told us how you.
Yeah.
me. So, what did I even do today? Today was just a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
We had a long day today, but first of all, I moved to the mainland because you people in this island, people will not give me.
You moved?
No, it's not like I moved my load. I just moved my bus. Like I packed for
She
the
moved.
week.
No, she moved. Yeah.
Traffic.
Yeah, and it's still swampy because of
Yeah.
the consistent rain and all that.
And you know, it's the thing that is madness. Like you guys, we do not really have a great conversation to have, but we have to have it. It's a tough conversation. We had the sad news of the former Conga CEO, yeah, that jumped off his balcony, and so in light of that story, we want to have a conversation around how we can collaboratively approach, suicide prevention. Right, that's the conversation. And here's what we found as today's quote. It says, suicide may seem like the only way out, but in the end, it is not just you that you are hurting, but those who love and care about you. And this is really, really, apt for the conversation. So as you already know, it's our ladies' night out. When we open our phone lines, we really love to hear your thoughts on how you think we can help people around, and how we can collaboratively, right, prevent suicide. I mean, there's a high rise of suicide right now, and we need to be intentional about helping people and helping ourselves as well. All right, so we'll first of all go on a break to see what we found in today's news. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, Micro, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprise Day, right, was established by United Nations to raise awareness of the tremendous contributions of small micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to the global economy and sustainable development. Now, this day emphasizes the importance of supporting these enterprises in overcoming challenges and accessing finance, technology, and markets. Now, the 2024 MSME Day offers an opportunity to discuss and exchange ideas on how key stakeholders, including policymakers, large companies, financial institutions, and international communities, can support micro, small, medium-sized businesses to advance the 2030 agenda. Now, the theme for this day is leveraging power and resilience of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise to accelerate sustainable development and eradicate poverty in times of multiple crises. All right, so I mean, I saw a live stream today, and they were celebrating this day in Abuja. I think the convener of the event was saying that one of the key things that he really hopes that the conference would achieve would be giving small businesses single-digit loans, right? It will help for them to scale. I've said it that any serious government should know that the main drivers of any economy are small and micro. Yeah, they are the ones that employ the most, right? So you see the pockets, this small organization will have maybe 20 people, another organization has 50, like that. Those pockets, by the time you aggregate them, right, these are the employers of labor. These are the people that help to reduce the unemployment rate. So if any government is really serious about growing or strengthening their economy, you must be intentional about focusing, that energy within that small and micro businesses, so you can empower them to scale, and then in the end, the ripple effects, is to your credit. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, especially with clearing the barriers, into the market.
Absolutely.
Instead of erecting more means to suffer them, like people run POS businesses, that's how they feed, and tomorrow you just get up and say, I want all of you registered. Yes. And I want you registered before this time. There's no thought to how have they been surviving, what's the best way to give them a soft landing when I bring out new policies. So I think it's very important, especially for our current government.
Absolutely. All right, so let me start with you, Mary. What did you find for us in the news?
So what I have in the news was the fire at Dangote Refinery. I think that happened yesterday. But they've also come out to say that there was no loss of life or any major damage. So we're happy about that. And, they're still up and running.
Thank God for
Thankfully
that.
for that.
Yeah. I'm happy the way they swiftly contained that fire.
Yeah,
that's very important.
God help him.
Yeah.
How about you, Bofa? What did you find for us?
What I found, I read the headline. It says FG commences NIN data leak probe. Apparently, there's been a leak of our NIN data, all of us here and the people outside. So they found online that people were peddling the data. It was available to be purchased online at a fee. Yeah. So the government found that out, and they're trying to quickly sweep in, clean that up so that they don't expose Nigerians to more scammers and other people. They haven't successfully, they've just commenced.
They never sweep on finish?
They are not done sweeping. Sweeping is going on.
So NIN is like our social security.
Like a social security number. Yeah, if someone has it, they can go and just
I had an issue with that, like even putting it on a piece of paper today, because I needed to go and do a SIM swap. So he told me, put your NIN. I was looking at them, I was like, in this year of technology, I am still writing my NIN on a piece of paper. It doesn't make sense.
And I think
it's secure. Like I can't tell, someone walks in here and does a screenshot of my entire, and that is my entire data. So it's, I don't know. I'm not sure how to react to that.
So, Angie, I'll come to your story last because your story is actually going to tie us to the conversation for today. So, my story is just to speak to the young lady that, she has been promoted, right, as a lieutenant, right? This is the Army promotes first female officer trained in the UK military academy to lieutenant. Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tawhid Lagbaja, I think that's how to pronounce the name, has ordered the promotion of the second Lieutenant Princess Owowo to the substantive rank of lieutenant in the Nigerian Army. The statement by the NDA on Wednesday partly read that speaking during the decoration ceremony that took place. The Nigerian Defense Academy Officers Mess and Golf Club, NDA, the Major General extolled the track record of excellence by this, or as a cadet, which accorded her the rare privilege of becoming the first female Nigerian to be trained at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, as well as her promotion to the new rank. This, the event was attended by senior military officers and academic and non-academic staff and family members. So we're proud of her. 24 years old, and she's made. That's I'm super proud of her, and I'm excited that we want to see more of this. All right, so Angie, your story quickly.
So my story says former CEO of one of Nigeria's e-commerce giants, Konga, Nick Imudia, has reportedly died by suicide. This Day reports that Imudia took his life on Tuesday, June 25th, by jumping from the balcony of his apartment in Lekki, Lagos State. Before making the jump, he was said to have called his brother based in the United States to give instructions on how to distribute his wealth, should anything happen to him. He was also said to have reached out to his young daughter from his previous relationship, telling her he would always be there for her, and that if she needed him, she needed to look in the sky to see him. His friends, family, and associates have been torn into mourning following the unfortunate incidents. Imudia hailed from Ika South local government area of Delta State and was previously married to the mother of his young daughter, who is also from the same local government. The marriage ended due to irreconcilable differences. May his soul rest in peace.
All right. On that note, we'll take a break. When we come back from that break, that's our anchor story for today. And we'll just kind of like, put our 2 cents into it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, so it's another exciting episode on Ways Exclusive, and I am really excited to be here having this conversation. I believe I should be the first person he will be talking to after the launch of his book, Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. Why did you decide to go to your constituency with this book?
This book is 11 years in the making. It's been a very painful book to write.
Do you have anything personal, any personal problem with Afe Babalola?
It's not personal, and this is very important for me. It is not personal, and it is the fact that it is not personal that has made it important. That I thank God that Chief Afe Babalola is alive and well. I thank God that there is nobody I have mentioned that is dead. Each and every one of the persons who happen to be just types. Because if it wasn't Afe, if it wasn't any one of the other persons, it would have been someone else, because it is the system that has allowed this to happen. The problem with us is that we have been lying to ourselves as a collective for so long that it is actually the person who forces us to confront the truth of our lies that we begin to attack.
At the time of this event, I think it was Babatunde Raji Fashola,
Yeah, he was the governor.
That was the governor of Lagos State. And, for your own, you expressed your disappointment.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was a legal practitioner, he is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and you would have thought that, that should have been enough for him to kind of like act, at least even respond to whatever it is the situation was.
Put it this way. BRF was the governor. I had no expectation of him being present in every situation, and I didn't expect him to be the one to deal with the problem. But I expected him to take an interest in what was going on.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, in lieu of the conversation earlier had on mental health and suicide on this show, citing the case of a white man that tried to jump into the Third Mainland Bridge, today we're going to be talking about another side to this entire depression, mental health, and suicide conversation now. A news went around last night about the former chief executive officer Konga one of the Nigeria's e-commerce giant, Nick Imudia, who committed suicide in Lagos, as NJ had earlier mentioned. Now, according to the police report, he jumped from his balcony of his apartment in Lekki area of Lagos. So, as of this time that we are having this conversation, the reason he took his life is still unknown, so we just put that out there. But tonight we want to have a conversation around how we can collaboratively approach suicide prevention. That's the conversation, and of course I have my ladies with me. It was important to bring in, Bofa is one of the advocates for mental health, same as Mary, same as Alero, every time that there's a conversation around mental health and mental wellness, issues around, helping people come out from issues and things around suicide, depression, and all of that, it's also important that we are vulnerable enough, to bring it close to home, so you know that you're not alone in this situation. So when I saw that report, when you were reading your report earlier, he had called his brother to tell him that distribution of wealth, meaning that he was not particularly a poor person. He had financial means. For you to call to say, this is how I want my wealth to be distributed, it means that, you see, maybe he's not part of those bracket of the people that are worried about what to eat or what not to eat and all of that. Previous relationships, for me, I was just trying to understand what could have triggered that previous relationship. So obviously it means that he has a strain with his ex-wife, sending the daughter the message, she just needs to look up to the sky. Is it possible that maybe the separation or whatever it is that happened took a toll on him? I really don't know, right? So we really can't tell much. So tonight I just want us to have a conversation, right? Collaboratively, right? Suicide is not something that I don't even know how to explain it. It's not something that you can't even tell sometimes, because sometimes somebody is so excited, somebody is so happy. Yeah. The next thing you hear that the person died, right? So, or the person went to kill themselves and all of that. So it's not something you can even trace. Really, there has to be some level of heightened awareness that can help you understand that this person is going through this. Because some might mask it with a lot of joy and happiness. Some might just be outrightly, gloomy and sad and all of that. You know that this person is going through something. So I don't know. If we say we want to collaboratively approach, suicide prevention, how do we go about it? Who's going to go first?
I'm trying not to.
I think I'll speak first. For one, I'm very grateful for social media in terms of this, because social media has enlightened us a lot about, mental health. A lot of people also, through being vulnerable and saying their truth, has helped a whole lot of people. So, I think what we can do is the same way the algorithms work in terms of businesses and stuff. We can, promote more posts. I believe that there's sometimes when I'm just scrolling and I just see a random thing, just, there's this cartoon character thing that just says, "Hi, how are you feeling?" It's a, video. And I'm just like, oh wow, that was so thoughtful. How did I, come across this and stuff? It's, weird. So I believe AI and the use of social media, can sort of sense either through what people have been searching, and, what has been on your feed, the way that they suggest products for you to buy, is we can incorporate that to suggest more, therapies. You have YouTube influencers these days who say, oh, this post was sponsored by better help, and you're thinking, what's his better help? You know, that alone is just like, okay, there's online therapy now. Okay, it's accessible, you know. So, I mean, these are ways that we've already started, you know, promoting mental health. Like you said, you can't really tell. Sometimes it comes from these freeze mode that we're talking about, and we just see it as something, you know, like if you're in that way for the first week, you're in that way for the second week, before you know it, you just don't have any meaning to live. It's not like you don't have money. It's beyond money now, you know. So it's sad and difficult, but I mean.
Ufa.
A friend of mine, and I hope that my friend forgives me for saying this, a friend of mine told me that at some point she feels like if she's going to go, this is the way that she will go.
My God.
And I know that she's in therapy, just as she knows that I'm in therapy too. So we would check on each other, like, what's up? But when she said that, I started to realize that this is going to happen at some point. I just don't know when that is going to happen. So I decided that instead of having that, because it broke my heart for the first couple of days, I was so scared. I decided that I was just going to try and be there for as long as I could be there. Because the truth is, there's really no science to preventing suicide. It hasn't been found. I think the reason it hasn't been found is because it's something that happens to the person on their own. But when people die by suicide, then you realize that there's someone close to them who knew what they were going through. Someone in his family knew that he'd been depressed. It might not be a lot of people in the family, but somebody knew. There's someone he told. There's a friend that knows too, that was just always there saying, fighting, I'm here for you, if you need anything. Or maybe they don't even have to say it in that way, but there's one person aware. So at the end of the day, because there is no way to directly say this person is going to die, I think that the most that we can do is try to, for us that are living, for the rest of the people that are still hearing us, that are still considering it, to say, because we know that one person is aware, maybe you can take the step for yourself to tell maybe a professional to get you the help that you need. Because someone like CEO of Conga, he's exposed, he's traveled, he's seen the world, he has money, he has a family. He knows that suicide isn't the way out. That's not the message that it was thinking of at the end of the day. So I just want to say that, like, the person that's out there, that knows that this is what it is for you, just try and, it changes life. It keeps going. Try and get the help that you need. That's what I can say.
Angie, so when you saw that story, why did you particularly pick that story? What was running through your mind?
Well, coming from a person who has had the thoughts, I haven't, but when we were talking earlier, I was telling Mary that the thoughts, if I want to be honest to myself, the thought has actually crossed my mind. And it would take, you can't really explain how it happens, how you get there, but it could be something very small. You could be going through a process for a very long time and just, the normal hustle, tomorrow is a better day. And then one day, something very insignificant happens to you. And all of a sudden, all those emotions that you've been pressing down and suppressing just comes like, it's like a bottle. If you hold a bottle and it's covered and you squeeze it, nothing comes out. But the moment you open it and you squeeze it, the amount of, water that pops out. So that's exactly how those emotions just pop right up to the top. And I don't know how to explain the human mind and the human body, but the body reacts to the mind and they work together. So when your mind is not feeling all right, your body starts to react to it. You feel very uneasy. You're not sure how you feel. I'm sure that has happened to people a lot of times with them, but they don't understand what kind of process they're going through. Because till now, we still can't understand it. You just go through an emotional process that just kicks in, and within a short time, coming from a Christian background, for the longest time, and I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't been able to capture this early. Because, a lot of things, we come from a very traditional, cultural, religious environment. So everything is termed spiritual, you know, something, Satan is chasing, someone is chasing you. But it's just when we, as we've matured, that we've realized that a lot of these things, some of the things we've been taking pills for are really things that if we knew ahead of time, you'd be able to deal with, help one person be able to deal with it, just help people. But I can't explain the emotions that go through with it, but I know that if anyone has ever gone through that thought process and you've come out alive, you should be happy. It means that you are stronger than you thought you were. Because it's a struggle that people are struggling with every day. And from the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, everyone. You know, sometimes people talk about it like this current case now, we're all looking at it and we're wondering, how did it happen? It's not financial because he had money to distribute after death. So it's not, is it the relationship? Okay, you are a young man, you are single, you have a child. Okay, the child is not with you, obviously, because if you had to call your daughter, the child is not with you. So the child is with the mom or with someone, but being taken care of. Yeah? So it's not that. Okay, the relationship, you're a young man, you can always find someone else to marry. You're not like a female who will start thinking, for the females, you start thinking, oh, how old? And maybe I'm getting older, so I'm no longer in the market. You're a young man or you're still growing, so there's still a lot of opportunity if you want to look at it from that way. Or you want to stay single, so there's a lot you can do with that. So you're wondering, everyone's head is popping right now because we're all trying to figure out what happened. And you will be surprised that if you allow Mr. Imudia to come back from the dead and tell us his story, we would all probably say with our human mind, oh, is that it? It always happens. And that's the social stigma that makes people to just go right ahead and do it without trying to talk to someone and telling your sister that you have thoughts of killing yourself. That you have thoughts of leaving this world without everyone you love saying goodbye the normal way. It's a story. Like, I think is when you come out of it, because even when you come out of it, it still hits you every time.
Momentum.
It still triggers you every time. So it's not something that I don't think anybody can sit down here and be like, oh, I've been through it, I'm okay, everything. It triggers you.
There's a lot of trigger. But I was just going to ask that. So sometimes, is it that the things that we are going through, you know, kind of like is exaggerated in our minds? Because in truth, right, I am sure that people that commit suicide, if they were given an opportunity to come back alive, right, faced with the same situation that made them kill themselves, I don't think a lot of them, I think a good number of them will not attempt that suicide again. So I remember that when my son just joined secondary school, I mean, he just joined the school. So there was a boy that was brought from a particular school. And that boy, based on the fact that he was, I mean, the school was the creme de la creme. Our own school is a bit, you know, for the standard of where he was coming from. The next thing we heard, right, was the boy took a belt and hung himself. He killed himself because he couldn't stand the thought. I don't know whatever it was that was going through his head, but I know that the parents felt like he was unruly. He became whatever, so they needed to put him in an environment where he was going to be better disciplined and all of that. He would concentrate on his studies and all of course. The school that my children went to, is a bit, you know, in terms of like, they're a lot more...
Standards.
Yes, yeah. So he killed himself. So that's what I'm saying, that if people... I'm sure if that boy was given an opportunity to come back alive, to say, oh, it's just 1 year, I'll soon be done with the school. Yeah. It will be over. Do you understand? Because he was actually in what's it called? In just a year. He was supposed to just do 1 year, write his exams and go. So that's why I'm saying that suicide are people not going through like an over-exaggerated... So something is happening, yes. Maybe I might be broke, I might be going through a heartbreak and all of that. But the mind of somebody that is suicidal sees that thing as the only thing. Like, you're not able to see anything else. Yeah. So are we not... So how do we start to... I'm struggling to frame it, because what I think we need to do is kind of like reduce that exaggerated picture, right? and help the person see other options. Because I don't know how, like I said, I can't be in anybody's shoes right now because I have been through a lot. But to say I have thought about it has never crossed my mind. Right? My own is just that this thing, the pain is too much, right? How do I come out of this thing? I'm tired, right? That's the highest I have, been through in terms of like emotional pain, right? I just need to come out of this thing. I'm tired of it, right? God, just take away this pain from me. So, but when I see people that get to that point where they are thinking, oh, it means that every tiny strand of hope is completely vanished. So it is an exaggerated picture that they see, and they just cannot see anything else other than that problem that they are in. So if we say we wanted to help that kind of a person, I think it's just to probably flip the lens, right? Let the person see something different. Yeah. Because I don't know. I really don't know. See, people have done so many things. Do you understand? There is nothing new under the sun. So there's nothing that you're going through that somebody else have not gone through. So why would you think?
The first thing is that it's not one thing that makes people commit suicide. It is a series of things.
Plenty things.
And they can be happening for years before they get to that point where they're like, I'm done. It takes a lot longer. It's just that one day it's going to be one thing. Maybe their boss insulted them at work and that is
okay, so that will now be the final trigger.
Yes, that's the final thing. But that did they just wake up today, this thing happened and their response was, you know what, I'm going to kill myself. They don't. Because biologically, psychologically, human beings are wired to want to preserve their life. That's why when something is happening, we run. Our first instinct is we want to survive. So when the instinct is flipped, it's because it's been happening for a long time before they get to that point where they do it. I also think that people who finally commit suicide are quite brave. And I don't say this to encourage anyone to do it, but the idea that, oh, they've become weak, it's not true. I think it's the strongest thing you can ever possibly do. And because I said this, and because I want to be honest to myself and to the people that are listening, I've attempted suicide before. I've overdosed. I've gotten to that point where I'm done. And like he did, I also called my sister and I said, I think I sent her a message or something to say that no one did, like this is, so that if you find my body, you're not going to see that someone took my life. I did it myself. So I sent her the message. And my sister was able to reach out to people quickly that could come get me. And probably because I didn't jump like he did, I took drugs that were going to take time to start getting.
So they had to flush it out of your system.
Yeah, so they had to go through like the entire process for days where I couldn't even see. They'd come to a point where the drugs had like blinded me for a while. But like so it wasn't one thing that for me got me to the point where I said, I'm done. It's multiple things and it's been so long. It's so long that I feel like I'm just going to keep moving. There's no solution for that. There's no fixing it, right? It is what I will do from here on. And after therapy, after the month-long time where they isolate you, try to understand what is going on. The psychologists do that. They keep you for a while. They don't let your family come in. They try to understand why you did it. When you've also come to terms with why you did it, then they get into the part of trying to rehabilitate you to say this is not, and all of that. I remember speaking to a lecturer who I was very close to in university post this because he hadn't seen me for a while. And he asked me what happened, and I opened up to him. And he told me, like, why would you go? Like, I'm here. Do you know what you mean to me? Just knowing that you're out there. Every time I think about what you're doing for yourself. I remember that for the next couple of months, when I got to that point again, those are some of the words that did it for me. Yes, I just kept thinking. It just gave me such immense strength that I didn't even know. So my point is, it takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot to get the people there, right? So maybe if we understand that saying this for me, which I'm so scared to say it outside, if knowing that my saying this isn't going to come back to bite me, I'd be more comfortable discussing it, with people and trying to encourage them to say that this isn't ideally the way to go. So as we clear up the stigma, we also need to understand that when you're trying to discuss, when someone comes to you and tells you that I'm tired, try and unpack if you have the capacity, because it's not that one thing that's causing them tired. They've been tired for a while. So that will really help. Try and look back.
Wow. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. All right, so it's another exciting episode on Ways Exclusive, and I am really excited to be here having this conversation. I believe I should be the first person he will be talking to after the launch of his book, Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. Why did you decide to go to your constituency with this book?
This book is 11 years in the making. It's been a very painful book to write.
Do you have anything personal, any personal problem with Afe Babalola?
It's not personal, and this is very important for me. It is not personal, and it is the fact that it is not personal that has made it important. That I thank God that Chief Afe Babalola is alive and well. I thank God that there is nobody I have mentioned that is dead. Each and every one of the persons who happen to be just types. Because if it wasn't Afe, if it wasn't any one of the other persons, it would have been someone else, because it is the system that has allowed this to happen. The problem with us is that we have been lying to ourselves as a collective for so long that it is actually the person who forces us to confront the truth of our lies that we begin to attack.
At the time of this event, I think it was Babatunde Raji Fashola,
Yeah, he was the governor.
That was the governor of Lagos State. And, for your own, you expressed your disappointment.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was a legal practitioner, he is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and you would have thought that, that should have been enough for him to kind of like act, at least even respond to whatever it is the situation was.
Put it this way. BRF was the governor. I had no expectation of him being present in every situation, and I didn't expect him to be the one to deal with the problem. But I expected him to take an interest in what was going on.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we're having a conversation around how we can collaboratively help, prevent suicide, right? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open as well. The number to call is 0702500779. If you would like to share your story, let us know. So, Bofa, thank you so much for talking. First of all, if there's nothing anybody will get from today's show, it's that please, by all means, let's stop the stigma and let us be a lot more receptive when people have real issues that they're dealing with. The fact that you cannot understand it does not make it that it doesn't exist. You know how you tell your parents, this is what I'm going to do, just brush it off. A lot of people have been abused as children, and the only thing that they see themselves very worthless, and, there's no value to my life anyway, so let me just take my life. So you see them struggling even as adults to just stay alive. A lot of people have been through so many things. Like, there are different, when we talk about the leading causes of suicide, some people have gone into probably maybe drug use and abuse and all of that, and it's now making them, not even see any value in their lives. A lot of people have gone through even social vices, right, that you can't even tell. So family issues, financial issues, even religious bodies, right? And all of that. There are so many things that can trigger. And I like what you said about it's a combination of things, right? Maybe if probably the situation that I have been through, maybe if it lingered for a very long time, only God knows where my own mind would have been. Do you understand? So now that we know that the mind can actually, I would say, play a trick on us, how do we start to intentionally protect our minds, right? And how do people around know that this person, because I was saying it before that, I mean, there are people that they mask it. They're so happy, they're so this, they're so that, but inside they're like dying. And so how do we first of all spot it? And for you that have attempted, like you literally overdosed, right? You said something around where your lecturer gave you those words that, oh, but I'm here. So what are the things that you would always also like for people to do? So for instance, if somebody is watching now, what am I supposed to be doing? Do I need to call you every day? Like my mother calls me every day. The thing is frustrating my life. I said, Mommy, stop calling me. So the days that she does not call me, she said, so you didn't even hear from me. You didn't even check up on me.
Yeah.
But my mom calls me every single, in fact, she can call in a day, she can call me like 50 times in a
Mine
day.
too.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but I realized that the days I don't hear her call me, I'm waiting happen.
Yeah.
He said, nobody say they call now all the time, and I know they like to pick. So she has channeled all that love to all her grandchildren. She knows the things that is happening to the one in this thing. Do you know that Sean just went for football? They scored 6 over. She will be telling you. She calls my own sons. She calls everybody. So all the love that she was trying to give to us that were rejected, she has channeled it to the grandchildren. But I'm saying that, so from the mind of, I'm trying to understand the mind of, okay, this is what I'm going through. What would I love to hear? What would I love people to do around me that can help, so that communally we can now begin to intentionally fight this menace?
Okay. I like that you talked about your mom, because family is important. And before anybody dismisses it, there is science to prove that people who have some sort of what would I call a community behind them are less likely to commit suicide or even have depression to start with. People who have a faith that they believe in, that they really hold on to. So sometimes when we see people go to church every day and we say, this churchy person, that might be the entire thing that that keeps their bubble together.
Outlet,
yeah, that is what does it for them. They believe completely in God. They believe that he can do everything. That is needed. There are therapists who are also Christians who say that it's needed for, that kind of level of community or belief is needed to keep a level of sanity for people. Family is also important, right? But maybe not call the person all the time. I think that for me and so for some of my friends, what has been useful is just that knowing that this person is there no matter what. It gives a lot of strength. I know that if I have misused my finances and I'm owing like 1 billion and I come and tell you, the first thing that you're going to say is not going to be like, what did you do with all that money? And even if you react like that, when you're done, maybe you say, oh yeah, let's talk. How are we doing this thing now? But if I feel like when I come and tell you, you're going to scatter me, you'll judge me, the shame, I wouldn't come to you. Maybe I'll go to someone else who will understand. So maybe he was, just because he had money to live, it doesn't mean that he probably didn't have debt that he was paying for like 3-5 years, that made him feel like, you're a failure. Why did you even make this mistake? Why did you collect the first money in the first place? So when people know that no matter what, this person is there, they love me, it gives them some kind of strength. If society relaxes a little bit so that people know that when they come to them with issues, they're not going to be torn apart, taken to the media and all of that stuff, maybe it will help them. I know yesterday we talked about Chivido, and some people were very, very focused on some aspects of infidelity, allegedly, alleged aspects of infidelity. Because he's out there, because he's Davido, doesn't mean it's okay to tear him apart like that on his wedding day. To continuously talk about, didn't he cheat on her, didn't he do this? That is enough to make somebody go back home and think about something. So when we say that kindness isn't overrated, it's not. In offices where people work, if you make people feel isolated, if you make people feel like they don't... Do you know back in the day, the entire thing that kept the crowd together, that kept humanity together, that was just fear of rejection. There were no guns in camps. Let's say that people were picking up food on the road and banding together to form society. What kept that society together was the fear of rejection. If you come into the king's palace and you are working and you poison the king, nobody in your lineage will ever enter the king's palace again. They will ostracize you. You will never come into society. That fear is enough to keep people in check, even if there's no gun to their face. That's how much human beings need community. So if people feel like I am part of this group at work, you don't feel like there are cliques that you can't be in. Like my boss loves me the same way he loves everybody, or my boss hates me the same way he hates everybody, but I'm not singled out. I still feel like I belong. People want to get that. So maybe the people in your life, they need to know that no matter, like for me, I know that no matter, if I have a body to hide, I will call my sister. We will hide that body together. I have that confidence, but not a lot of people have that. So maybe that one can help us a lot.
Mary, you want to come in?
I think I've lost my train of thought. But I was going to speak on training your mind. And I think exercise, helps with that. In terms of when you first start, you have a trainer or someone, it's like a mental thing. I listen to a lot of talks on how the mind works, maybe personally because I'm intrigued by it. And so if you're not able to catch yourself at the beginning point, there's something that's called momentum. So if you think, oh, this one thing is bad, and you keep looking at that one thing is bad, 1,001 other things are going to show up that is bad, and it just seems like the whole thing is bad. So if you can catch yourself at the point of when this one thing is bad, okay, but it doesn't mean that the 9 other things are bad. How about I, focus on the other things? I'll give a practical example. For some reason, I just really want a new car. There's really nothing wrong with my car. Yeah, and I just realized that I just seem to hate everything currently going on. It just seems like nothing is working with me. The car is moving, and it just, the horn has stopped today. Okay, oh, well, if I, could be in this other car. And then I just had to ask myself, there was a time where you wanted this car, and I remember there was a time where you wrote it down in your book, the color, the make, the model. If you were able to create that, fine. How about and you're sure that you can create the next one? Maybe it's just not going to be now. So when they say count your blessings, it doesn't mean that you're not anxious for the next big thing, but contentment is a very, very great virtue. My mom always used to sing into my head. I didn't like how she used to say it, but she always used to say, be content. Be content meaning if you're able to drink this water today, give thanks, give glory to God. If you go to the gym, you're able to push yourself. You see that, you can do 1 rep of something. You say, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to do 2 reps. You're training your mind. That mental, thing of getting up and going, it trains your mind so that when you're on the battlefield of these thoughts, because trust me, I battle with thoughts every time. I'm just like, for me, it's only my mom that is my next of kin. She's getting to 70. If I do it now, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, she'll go, because I know that she will not be able to cope. I've had the thoughts and I've thought it out to that point. But then again, I would say, well, life is sweet too. Do you understand? Like, I can't enjoy life if I'm not alive. Do you get? So that alone will say, okay, well, today is just a bad day. Yeah. Today is a bad thing. And I'm not even in the opinion that people should not feel their feelings, because I think everyone should feel the feelings. Like, I self-talk as well is another point that people should always do. I talk to myself a lot.
Going to Sweden. Continue.
Okay. I talk to myself a lot, and I think that really helps.
The fact remains, I agree with Uwa, honestly, I agree with you, that the responsibility of ensuring the protection of our children within the school system is in the hand of the parents. If the parent fails, nobody is coming for our children, the government is not coming for our children. You can see what is going on. What is the position of the Federal Ministry of Education and the institution responsible for universities in Nigeria? In the case of Ajayi Crowther University, have they issued a statement? Have they issued a statement in respect of Veritas? They've not. They are not interested. So when we keep putting our faith in the hands of people that have shown through their ways, their character, that are not interested in governance, but in their own pockets, in something, in things that work for them. Why do we want to pretend?
Because apologies for the break in transmission. But Angie, let me quickly hear your thoughts because you have been quiet for a minute.
Oh, no, they trust me. They've said almost everything, if not everything, from the you just taking care of yourself and just being aware and knowing how to, what triggers you and how to, you know, just move, find something. I think that's one of the things that led me even to tennis. Like, not active tennis. Tennis initially was just for fun, but active tennis is from things like this to put your mind in check. Because I tell most people, anyone who cares to listen, if I have a bad day, I'm heading to the court. If I have a good day, I'm heading to the court. So it's an emotional balance for me. And it's a way of putting my mind to work, because a sports in itself takes a lot of, you know, mental and all that. So it helps me to train my mind to know how to react. Most of the times, if I'm having a bad day and I go to the tennis court, most likely I'll win my games that evening, because the person on the other side does not know that, he doesn't understand that that's my outlet. So you just literally, I hear people say, oh, we're not fighting, oh, it's just a game. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's a game for you, but for me, I have to leave all this here. That's the only way it's going to work. I have to leave all this here. And by the time I'm driving home, I'm like, we can look forward to the next day. I think that's where I just want to anchor for today. And I think it's very, very important for us to find an outlet. Be it music, be it dancing, be it hanging out with friends. I wouldn't say do something else, but, you know, find something positive that keeps your mind out of that box where your emotions are about to overpour. I think that's just the key for me.
I like everything everybody has said. Mary touched on exercise. You talk about finding an outlet and all of that. For me, I think I also want to say that community also is very key. I remember that, you know, when my drama was happening, I had a community, you know, there was Norma, there was Priscilla, I had friends that could, you know, just be by me. And at that point, that is not the time where you should be saying, you self, you know, Sabi, why did you, you know, you just,
Judgment.
at that point, you know, I think even my friends my sisters accused my friends that they had, because I have a sister that is she said, I'm very blunt, you know, so her own is, give it to you. But I think in hindsight now, she's becoming a lot more careful in how she projects that bluntness. Because at some point she was saying, your friends did not tell you the truth. Your friends did not tell you, you know? Because in her mind, right, if my friends were, you know, truthful or were blunt with me, probably maybe the mistakes I had made, I would not have made them and all of that. But hindsight now, she's beginning to understand that it's not about those things, right? And, you know, so now she's a lot more conscious of the fact that truly people go through a lot of things, you know, emotionally. And at that point, that's not the time to say you want to castigate or whatever or attack the person. Just let it come. So maybe even when you want to talk about the mistakes the person make, let the person first of all come out of that situation. You know, I really